Hey, welcome back. In my last questions, I talked a little bit about the coal and oil and natural gas reserves and why, if the Eemians were true, why they didn't use them all up. Well, first off, we're true and we haven't used them all up. There's still at least 100 years left, if we can make it that far, without the same thing happening to us that happened to the Eemians in a climate disaster. But I think you'll find this kind of interesting. So I want to read these quick questions. I put two of them together. And the first question is, why didn't the Eemians use the coal and oil reserves that took millions of years to form? And the second one, hey Paul, I think you smoked too much of that green weed. I love it. I used to smoke a lot of green weed, I'll tell you. And that was many, many years ago. I kind of grew out of that. What about gas, oil, and coal? They didn't touch that. So how do you explain that? Well, we don't know that they didn't touch it. There's no way to tell that. They could easily have done that. They could easily have followed our same pattern over a 200-year period, finding out about fossil fuels, combustion, and starting to burn the greenhouse gases, and then all the things that happen, the permafrost melting, the CO2 levels going up, greenhouse gases taking over and heating the planet. And, within a period of time, it looks like we're on the same pattern as what happened during the Eemian, when all of Greenland melted, when half of Antarctica melted 100,000 years ago during the Eemian. I wanted to address the idea of how could there be so much in the way of fossil fuel to start with. I don't know how many of you know about what's called Project Plowshares. Look it up, run it on Wikipedia, Project Plowshares. Another one to put in there is Project Rulison. So in the Green River Valley, which is there's the Green River that runs through this valley that goes through Utah, parts of Colorado, I think parts of Arizona. And there's a formation there called the Green River Formation. And in that formation, currently, today, there is more natural gas trapped in that shale than all the energy we have ever used in our current period, the Holocene. So just think about that. You look and see the tons and tons of carbon that we are burning, oil and gas, and doing all the stuff that it's doing. All of that for the last 150 years, all of that, there's more, that and more, than we've ever burned in that Green River Valley. Now you might say, well, why haven't they got it out of there? Well, it's trapped in the shale and it's very difficult to get it out. This is something in book 2 of Eemians. This is one of the themes of the book, where our heroes, sort of the father of our hero, Sam, is trying to get this out. He's this. I don't want to tell too much about book 2. Sorry, but we make it pretty exciting. It's a great story. Project Rulison. If you look it up, Rulison, Colorado, back in the 1960s. They drilled a big hole, a shaft, a mile or so deep into, by Rulison, Colorado, in that Green River formation, and they dropped an atomic bomb down it, an atomic bomb that was the size of Hiroshima. This is not a small one. I mean, it's not a hydrogen bomb, but big enough. And they lit it. They did this 2 or 3 times, by the way, but we'll just focus on the one. And this atomic bomb went off. And what happens is it makes a giant crater inside a cavern inside. And after it cools, the rocks in this crater become unstable as they cool, and the whole thing collapses. And when it collapses, all the rocks that are in there let off the natural gas that's trapped. And you put a chimney on it and a pipe, and they had some of the largest amounts of natural gas coming out of that, and they were going to they were going to power the United States with. There's so much there. And you just drop an atom bomb down, you fire it off, and you get more gas than you know what to do with. Now, the problem was, this was right after all the World War II stuff, and, you know, memories were at the Red Scare and all this stuff, right? So the Cold War was going on, and the gas coming out was slightly radioactive. And they figured people might not like radioactive gas coming in and burning on their stoves. So they canceled the program. I mean, they were going to drop a hydrogen bomb out in Alaska to build a harbor. Read about it. I think you'll find it fascinating. So look, we have plenty of fossil fuels available to us if that's what we want to do. Hopefully we can break that cycle, which the Eemians never were able to do, and climate disaster back 100,000 years ago. Okay, thanks. I'll talk to you later. Bye.